By Big Z, out on the beach doing a little run tonight. I caught the story 2 days ago on Heche, and I've taken the story very personally, and I want to take a moment and share some facts with you about it that I found out and why it has had such a profound effect on me. Everybody knows who Heche is. She's the former girlfriend lesbian thing with that horrible Ellen DeGenerate person, and I'd say that my opinion of her has been less than favorable and very disgusting for me. But I was on Dr. Bob Larson's channel last week, and he was talking about Ann, and I didn't know this, but she grew up in a Baptist home. Her dad was a Baptist minister, and he was also bisexual, and he abused her sexually really bad growing up. In fact, I guess so bad that he gave her venereal disease. And so this little girl gives her profession and faith in Christ as a young girl, and gets baptized and all that, and grows up in the church, and then has to deal with this. So looking back now at it, I really feel bad for her and the confusion that she must have been in to have that. Now, the older brother was sexually abused by the daddy too, and he ended up committing suicide, driving his car into a tree. So here it is, her doing this. And then come to find out, as I did when I first learned the story, I looked up, just typed in the Google search, Heche and Zoloft, and then there you go. So she's been on the benzos, and when they do that, it's bad enough when a child gets abused by an adult, but a Baptist preacher and professing to be Christian, I can't imagine what it does to the mind. And then they have to try to process that, but something really bad happens to people who are abused, especially when they're younger. They really it opens a door for demons in there. And then you put them on a drug like Zoloft, which we now know locks the demon in the brain. It so affects the serotonin levels, it flips the pineal gland. Now, the pineal and the pituitary gland are what the Bible calls the two witnesses in the brain. That's the two witnesses, the pituitary and the pineal gland. We know the pineal gland is like a little cell phone that communicates us to the spirit realm. And so when you start jacking with serotonin and so forth, you're really doing some really nasty stuff to the brain, and it's just opening the door for even more demons. And the reason why I've taken this story very personally is my first wife, and no one knows this, but her daddy was a Baptist minister, and they had to flee the house in the middle of the night when they were little children because he was abusing them. And so my wife grew up in that, and then her mother remarries husband number 2, and it's the same story all over again. And so she deals with it her whole life and did very, very well with it. It gave her dyslexia and a few other, problems in learning growing up, but she did really well with it. And we were, we spent our every Sunday in church and lived a great Christian life, family at home. But 30 years down the road, she meets up with a friend who, this lady has a similar experience, and it reopened the door, I guess, to my wife. And she goes on Xanax because her friend gives her some, and it only took about a week, and my wife flipped, and she was gone. And so this story, I take it very personally. And then most of you who know my story, I got remarried this past year to a wonderful girl, and we got married back in December in a little private ceremony right here on the beach. And after a few months, things got not right, and I found out that she was on the Zoloft, and about 3 weeks later, same thing. They flip, and the demons come out. And you find out of sexual abuse from earlier in life, as when they were very young. And it's just, I said it in previous videos, that this stuff is epidemic. And there's so much evil in the world now between, looking at CERN over there. I don't know what those guys are doing, but I think they're opening up some type of a portal, and this demonic energy and these entities are just running wild all over Earth. And from all the chemicals that's in our food. Oh, by the way, I went on this fast. That's why I look so lean, because I lost like 40-something pounds. But I went on a fast for spiritual reasons, because I read that Jesus said these things only come by prayer and fasting, talking about dealing with people who have, the demonic issues going on. And after taking a fast and doing, I think, 7 hard days of water only, I put food back in my system, and I felt like the first hour I was drugged. Processed foods, it's just, I don't know. We're all messed with so bad, but I just want to go back to this thing with Ellen, and you know how I'm following this, and it's been a real, almost personal crusade for me now, to try to warn people, whatever you do not touch these benzos. Run away, throw them away. don't even think about even trying them. They don't work, and they destroy the brain. They flip it, they lock demonic entities into the mind. And demons, look, demons are just like viruses in a computer. They get into the brain, and you've got to get these things cleaned out. But when you go on these drugs, it's like everything is now inverted. So going back to Ellen, what was her name? Anne Heche, you know, how long, at 53, she finally snapped and back on her Zoloft again, and goes and tries to commit suicide, I guess, by running her car into a house. If you watch the story on Enter the Stars over in Casey's channel, something very strange with this story. Supposedly she runs into the house at 90 miles an hour in her Mini Cooper. By the way, my wife and daughter have Mini Coopers. So she runs in the house at 90 miles an hour, the car explodes, which to me is very strange. But they showed the clip of her being put in the ambulance, and she's in a body bag. And she unzips the body bag from the inside and starts trying to climb out of the stretcher, while the paramedics, or not paramedics, but the firemen are putting her into her ambulance. Something very, very, very weird about this whole story. And there's been some lawsuits going on, I guess, with the Zoloft thing, and very, very strange. But anyway, it's just sad. And and you know, looking back now, I feel bad that I had such a bad perception of her, an opinion of her. I couldn't stand either of them and what they did, you know, normalizing their lifestyle, I guess you could call it. But anyway, I hope that, you know, she's in a peaceful place now, and it's just, you know, you just never know. You never know. People can live their whole lives harboring something from their past, and they just keep it inside. So like I said, I feel bad for her. Anyway, wanted to share that story with you. And just, you know, be aware of it. You know, if you got friends or family, you know, maybe it's time that we stop thinking about all of our little things that we enjoy researching and doing, and maybe taking time to stop and spend time with family and friends, and you know, kind of see if maybe somebody doesn't need some help, because you hate to one day, you know, lose someone that you love and you didn't know what was going on. So anyway, love everybody. I'm out, and talk to you soon. Bye.